we projected from now till year 2030 maybe, it will increase the urbanization from 50% to 70%. Where will these people go in the future?
Holding the China Talk series since last year. And during this semester, we will continue to bring a selection of experts on Chinese urbanization.
Term waves, right? So what I say is that there are 4 waves of urbanization. Consumer centers to production centers, and they have to introduce what is known as a household registration system that restrict rural urban migrations because they don't want people to go to cities because they know that the city is too many people. And basically, you don't have enough jobs for them. It seems to say that we need to open up, but somehow let's do it gradually, okay? And so let some areas become rich first. And so it's not the big cities, it's something else, okay? So you talk about industrialization without urbanization, right? So as a result of this, you actually have to have a lot of industry in the rural areas. It strictly control the scale of large cities, rationally develop medium and small cities, and actively develop small cities and towns. How many of you know about this terminology, pseudo-urbanization by Terry McGee? But in the third world countries like in Thailand or like India or Indonesia, it's mainly people go from the rural area to the cities hoping that they can find a job, but there's no job. Land leasing. And so with the land leasing, what they use a very fancy term called the pay transfer of land use rights, right? So they're able to capture the land value very quickly, right? And so one concept of what is being done is that you are using land sale to generate more land. So what is the meaning of the 4th way? So why I call the EO 201 is the 4th way? Because then it is trying to use in the 10th 5-year plan, it specifies basically the strategy of accelerating service industry development and to use urbanization to increase service industries in detail. So basically what happened is that now in China, a lot of cities and districts are using the same model as industrial development. They thought that if I can provide land, then somehow we will attract CBD, producer services, which in fact it may not be the case, right? Thank you very much. China, no doubt, undoubtedly, one day will be a civic society. In the last 30 years, they can sidestep the type of pseudo-urbanization problem in the third countries. But if they losing this so-called state intervention in terms of restricting people's movement, what will happen to the big cities?
That's the explanation of who made the decision on rely on the state early on, and how the decision was made.
This is the reason why you can see more and more confrontation now happening in terms because the people are now more aware of the rights of themselves, as well as the consequence of giving out their rights, because they will a lot of financial loss.
It's sustainable to some degree, but how can you keep selling land to do that?
Look backward. Actually, if they have implemented a property tax and also have the so-called betterment tax, the bubble that now we are seeing in China may not be that large, right? The whole thing is, we still have a lot of SOE, state-owned enterprises, that China can say, I do not allow you to stay in the city. Go to the new towns, right? To provide employment for my people. It can be done. Right? Keep my mind challenging.